Shout out to this paperwork right here. Paperwork, paperwork, paperwork. No intro songs. We're gonna dive straight into it. Pause. Right? Man, we got what kind of stories we got today? We got the Michigan school teacher that I just saw on Spiritual Word. We got this tweet that we're gonna go over. So everything is pretty much lined up. I just want to make sure I didn't miss out on anything. Let's see. We might go over this story first. Oh yeah, by the way, I got another warning on my channel. So my algorithm is gonna be effed. I don't even think people are gonna see this stream. Yeah, my algorithm is gonna be so beat. I'm not even gonna lie. My algorithm is gonna be so beat. We will go over Diddy, but specifically because I was supposed to go over this paperwork like 5 days ago, but the James Harden situation. And this story intrigues me only because I know it's gonna go away eventually, but it reminds me of the Jovi Payne situation with Kai Cenat 2 years ago. This case mirrors that, where it's a big star, right? It's a big star. It's a lady connected to that, right? Jovi Payne goes to the house of Kai Cenat, and one of his associates allegedly does something to her, and then she sues Kai Cenat's estate. So this is very similar stuff. But anyways, let's go into Diddy. Pause. Mr. Take That. We got Mr. Take That. Okay. Let's see what we got in terms of Diddy news, right? So apparently there has been a setback with the jury because I guess one of the jurors couldn't follow instructions. Let's hear from the New York Post. Let's hear from the New York Post. Okay. I was about to go over this story. Hold on, I gotta turn off, I guess, the ad block on this. Okay, here we go. See if I can exit out of these ads. Here we go. All right. Deliberations in Sean Diddy Combs' trial hit snag as one juror apparently can't follow judge's instructions. Diddy bombshell trafficking trial hit a snag Monday, just an hour after jury deliberation started, because one juror apparently couldn't follow the judge's instructions. The panelists, 8 men and 4 women, sent a note to Manhattan federal judge Aaron Subramanian. So, how do you say his name? Judge, we're just gonna call him Judge Aaron, at around 12:40 p.m., expressing concerns about one of their own. We have a juror 25, who we believe cannot follow your instructions, the note said. Interesting. The juror in question is a 51-year-old man with a thick European accent. During jury selection, he revealed he lives in Manhattan with his partner and works as a scientist. He earned a PhD in molecular biology and neuroscience. It wasn't immediately clear exactly what the jury's note meant. In Subramanian, I hope that's the judge's name. We got to exit out of these ads. Oh my God. Told the panel to keep deliberating for the time being. Combs, who had, oh Lord have mercy, they got the whole baby oil thing as an exhibit. Lord have mercy. This is ridiculous. Anyways, Combs, who has been held at a Brooklyn lockup since his September 2024 arrest, was seen smiling and chatting with his attorneys shortly before the note was read. A copy of the self-help book, The Power of Positive Thinking, sitting on the defense table in front of him. I swear, when it comes to like court, this stuff is funny. The issue came about an hour after the panel was sent to the jury room at 11:30 a.m. to start weighing the charges against Combs, who has pleaded not guilty. The Bad Boys record founder could face up to life in prison if he's convicted on any of the top three charges he faces. Jurors must decide whether he's guilty of one count of racketeering, conspiracy, two counts of sex trafficking, and two counts of transportation to engage in pro. Okay. Over 7 weeks of testimony, the jury heard from 34 witnesses, were shown hundreds of text messages and emails, and saw hours of footage of freak offs. Sean Combs, age 55, is accused of forcing his ex GF, Cassie Ventura, and a former gal pal, Jane, who testified anonymously under the pseudonym, to have sex with male escorts while they were on drugs during hours long freak offs. Star prosecution witness Ventura testified while she was 8 months pregnant about how the I'll Be Missing You rapper regularly beat her up and demanded she frequently participated in the S marathons, even when it made her sick, and one time after he allegedly viciously assaulted her. Here's the thing, in my opinion, this would have been a slam dunk case. This would have been a slam dunk case if they just went in on if he was charged for like kidnapping, arson, right? Arson attempt and domestic, you know what, right? If they just went on the pretenses of that, he would have been charged. But they're the prosecution and the charges levied against him, they're just trying to be greedy. So because they're trying to be greedy, Diddy might end up going free with like, or he at most a slap on the wrist. Sorry. At most, he might get a slap on the wrist because the prosecution and the powers that may be, the feds, right? They're being greedy. They're after something else, and because of that, they might accidentally let the diddler free when he really should be locked up. But because they're trying to add on extra stuff, and since there's another agenda behind this, they might accidentally let somebody that really should be locked up, they might accidentally let him free, right? Let me see. Jane also testified about Combs pressuring her to constantly partake in the sex events and said he threatened to stop financially supporting her if she didn't. The jury was also shown hours of video clips of Ventura and Jane during the freak-offs, which were recorded by Combs. The footage was kept from the public and the media because of how graphic it was and to protect the privacy of the two women. So for them to even watch these tapes, I can't believe now sex tapes are now, they have to be watched by jurors. And I'll say this: the hoes of the past, the hoes of now, they brought that ish upon themselves. Because I remember Corey Holcomb had said this a while back, where there was going to be a time in the future where they're just going to have to, sex tapes are going to be now, even if they're kind of illegal, they're going to be needed, right? So it is what it is. It's going to be neat because too many people be lying, too many people be capping. It's too much cap going on. Combs' lawyers claimed that Ventura and Jane willingly took part in the freak offs, The defense aired dozens of their sexts and also loving text messages they sent to Combs to try to prove to the jury that everything was consensual. And it was. It was. And to me, in my opinion, Cassie, she's not a victim. She's actually a snitch. She's no different than a gang member or a gang banger flipping on their homies to protect themselves, right? Prosecutors also claimed the disgraced music mogul carried out a criminal enterprise for 20 years, roping in his employees to help him commit a series of other crimes like arson, bribery, kidnapping, witness lampering, and drug related crimes. Combs' team claimed the evidence was woefully lacking to prove he ran a racket for decades like some mob boss. Less than 30 minutes after the jury left the courtroom to begin deliberating, Combs had an extended conversation with his family and then led them in a group prayer with his kids, other relatives, and supporters all joining hands. Jurors sent out a second note later on in the day asking a legal question related to the drug related allegations in the case. Subramanian said he would address the jury's questions before deliberations resumed Tuesday morning by rereading them a portion of his instructions. Because of the greed of the feds, because of the greed of the public, because now sex tapes are now going to be they're going to start using sex tapes as evidence now. He might walk away with this. He might walk away with it with barely a scratch on his record. To be quite honest with you, let's look at the comments. Let's look at some of the comments here. Well, I guess oh, no comments. Yep, right here. This is this. Let's zoom in on the comments because even though he's like Diddy, so he's guilty of a lot of things, but they try to go the sex trafficking and all this other route where there's really nothing there. But I believe I believe he's set up people to get deleted. I believe he was behind the deletion of Kim Porter. I really believe this stuff, right? But he's gonna walk free because they're trying to go the Cassie Ventura. They were trying to go the Cassie Ventura was the victim route, right? And they're trying to add extra other charges that really don't need to be there. And because they're adding on imaginary charges, and then on top of that, he has evidence backing him up where I'm talking about he has sex tapes backing him up where everything was consensual, right? So he might walk away with really barely anything. Probably some community service, probation, or if he is in prison, 1 or 2 years, 5 years eligible for parole. Because the only thing they can really get him on is arson, which was the Kid Cudi situation. Right here. Let me see if I can find that comment that I just saw. Yeah, he said, I predict this guy, his name is TD Super Spreader. Okay, he said, I predict, unfortunately, that Diddy will walk. The prosecution has not proven Rico in any shape, form, or fashion. This will be a major fail by the feds. I hope I'm wrong, but I don't think I am. I believe that as well. They're trying to get him on Rico. I'm like, where does hold on. Let me help y'all out real quick. By the way, hit a one in the chat if you can hear me. I'm gonna do a little sound check test on my own real quick. Let me do my own sound check test. Let me do my own sound check real quick. Do my own sound check. Yep. All right. People are hearing me loud and clear. Okay, that's good. That's good. Right. But this is unfortunate. I believe this was gonna happen. This is ridiculous. He said, I predict, let me repeat that one more time. He said, I predict, unfortunately, that Diddy will walk. The prosecution has not proven Rico in any shape, form, or fashion. This will be a major fail by the feds. I hope I'm wrong, but I don't think I am. I believe this. Like when they're talking about, like, that's what I'm saying. So They could have done this. They could have went this route. So you see the reply here. Rachel says, I think you're right. Why didn't they charge him with something he demonstrably did, which is assault, DV, and technically drug trafficking? They could get him on that, but they're going the whole RICO route. I don't know what are we doing? Hold on. Let me show y'all something. What is a RICO? This is why, because remember didn't they try to get Young Thug on the same thing? And I'm like, how are they gonna prove a RICO with Young Thug? Like because the prosecution and the people involved, they're greedy. They end up ruining their own cases. Not interested. Let me see. Let me see. Let me see something. Well, they tried. Let me see. Let me see what AI says. A RICO charge derived from the Racketeer Influence and Corrupt Organizations Act is a serious accusation related to organized crime. It allows prosecutors to target individuals involved in a pattern of criminal activity connected to an enterprise, even if those individuals don't directly participate in every crime. RICO is a federal law designed to combat organized crime by focusing on the enterprise rather than just individual crimes. How it works: it allows prosecutors to charge individuals with racketeering if they can prove a pattern of racketeering activity involving two or more specified crimes within a 10-year period. I remember Corey Holcomb was also talking about this when he was talking about RICO charges and how they're just trying to put that on any Negro male superstar. If they get caught up with anything sex related, they try to put a RICO charge or some kind of racketeering charge on him. I don't know if I can find that saved video by that mob boss when he was talking about this. Shout out to Pyro. Oh, I didn't change my thing. Hold on for a sec. I didn't change my thing. Hold on for a quick second. My bad. My banners are supposed to be red for a live stream. My bad. But anyways, let's look up something. I want to look up something real quick. I want to look up something real quick. I'm gonna go on my Instagram because I remember I saved a video by this, I think this mob boss, and he talked about how Diddy could literally walk free because of the greed of the prosecution and the feds. Let's see. That's probably gonna be a long scroll. I'm not gonna hold you. That's probably gonna be a long ass scroll. That's gonna be a long scroll. But this thing where these 304s just keep launching lawsuits, extorting ninjas for money, participating with the powers that may be after being up with you. This stuff is now it's backfiring. Now these things are backfiring, man. Because I really believe Cassie messed up the if like I'll say this: if Diddy walks free, I'm going to blame Cassie because you can't have participants like playing the victim when you were a clear participant. That's only going to work for so long. And I'm talking about like I'm like they're not gonna let every hoe get away with that. They're not gonna let every hoe get away with that. Come on, man. Sorry, guys. I'm still scrolling. I'm still scrolling for it because I would have sworn I saved. It was this mob boss. He was talking about the Diddy trial, and I saved it about 2 months ago. But I just have a lot of saved videos on my Instagram. I got a lot of saved videos on there. it's this former mob boss where he's just like, look, adding the sex trafficking and racketeering and these RICO charges, it's going to ruin the case. Oh man, like I'm still shocked that they were able to get like R. Kelly locked up on racketeering. I'm still shocked about that. I'm literally I'm looking at this case. I'm like, how is this possible? How? But that's the world that we live in. That is the world that we live in. Wars, still not finding it. Still not finding it. It might, yeah. This might take a while. I'm not even gonna hold you. Anyways, let's read some of these chats. See if I missed it something. Yeah, I'm blaming Cassie. If Diddy walks free, I'm blaming Cassie because this whole thing where you can participate with the dude, like she was full on with him doing the dirt. Too many people can testify to this, and I'm talking about in the public. I'm not even talking about just court wise. Too many people outside of court can testify to this. And then on top of that, they have the sex tapes where you got now you got people that get involved with, if people are saying, "Oh, I got raped" and all this stuff, they were able to look at the sex tapes to determine if this was consensual or not. This is a first. Well, sorry, this is actually not a first, but this is a first from a celebrity, right? Remember for the remember those kids from Sacred Heart? Um the football players from Sacred Heart, they were able to show the videotapes from their train that they ran on this one woman that said that she got assaulted, and they were able to show via the videotape evidence that everything was consensual. So if this is the norm now, so is adding Cassie to the case was, well, I think it's because she's pretty that they thought it was going to, I guess, win sympathy points, but that I don't think that stuff doesn't fly no more. Too many people be lying. Let's see here. Nope. Yeah, I don't, maybe I didn't save it. I thought I did, but I guess I didn't save it. Because now I'm looking at some of these posts that I'm saved. Nah, I didn't save it. I don't think I saved it. That's sad as hell. I thought I saved it, but I didn't. I'm gonna give it one more scroll, a couple more scrolls, and that's it. Yeah, I didn't save it. I don't think I saved it. Yeah, I'm seeing. Yeah, I'm seeing posts that I already did. I might have to look it up on YouTube. Let me look it on YouTube. Mob boss. I'm gonna type in mob boss defending Diddy. Defends Diddy. Let me see. Mob boss Diddy will go free. No, especially when they did the story. I remember them going over the story for um how Cassie and Diddy met. And the way that they're trying to push this, oh, she was so young and she was groomed. I'm like, at what? I'm like, on paper, they were together when she was 22. Now, yes, she met Diddy at 19, but they're trying to say that Diddy groomed her during. I'm like, what, at 19? Even though before Diddy, she was already a young girl going out with Ryan Leslie. I mean, stop. That stuff is not gonna fly forever. I'll be how. I mean, bro. I remember. Let me give you an example. Aaron McGruder, moral currency. Remember when Aaron McGruder was talking about black people and moral currency and how black people have used up their moral currency. So that whole in terms of pulling the race card, that stuff is not going to work no more. So I'll say this for the women pulling that I was groomed, I'm just a girl, that stuff, I don't think that's going to work no more, bro. And if I was to say this, if it doesn't work for this case, that will be very huge. That will be very huge. Let me see. Let me play this.
I really want you guys to understand that time is running out. And a lot of black people say that, but for real. Part of why the civil rights movement has been so successful, and part of why those who have come after in terms of our leadership have been able to maintain a presence, is that black people have always had a certain amount of moral currency that we have been using.
By the way, Aaron McGruder, this is the creator of the Boondocks, right? And this was him giving a speech somewhere. I forgot where that was, but this was on C-SPAN too. This is probably what like late 2000s, early 2000s.
And let me be the first to tell you, that's used up. White America has been watching us act like fools for a long enough time where any sympathy they may have had to our plight is completely gone. You're approaching a country that, forget hating black people or not hating black people, they just don't care. You can be talking about
this is what I'm talking about. So now let's apply this to women and just these lawsuits y'all just throwing off case after case after case. I'll say this. It's like if you got say this is why I said that the Deshaun Watson case, him being innocent, really should have been like a cause for celebration, because if a black man in the state of Texas is facing all these allegation charges, you know, sex in terms of sex, and they find him not guilty, right? For over like what 70 charges, 60 allegations, whatever. That's really a big deal. That's a big deal. But with the way things are going, where now you have even the simps are like, okay, let's if they see somebody get a case put on them in terms of sexual allegations or sexual misconduct, they're thinking twice before they completely go overboard on it, right?
affirmative action. They can be like, I don't care. It literally is of no importance to me. I don't care about slavery. I don't care about segregation. I don't care about you. I don't care how many of you all go to jail. I don't care at all because I'm broke. You can't be the proud, noble fighter when every single time someone sees a person that looks like you on television, they're acting like a damn fool. How would they know? How would they know you're not a damn fool?
Let's apply this to everyday women, right? The reason why a lot of women that do suffer from sexual misconduct, sexual harassment, the more times than not, you're seeing women, especially in the celebrity world, the industry world, they use their woman card to get away with whatever they got away with. And unfortunately, because of the TV examples, what we see on TV, women basically using the SA card to dodge accountability. Because of this, because you see the rise, you see, you know, young women trying to redefine SA as they go. Now you have the real victims of SA, which a lot of the times it's usually family related. But nevertheless, if it's an SA case, now people are thinking twice, even if it's a real victim. So when we talk about that moral currency or giving women the benefit of the doubt when it comes to SA, women getting harassed, women getting groped, et cetera, et cetera. People don't really care no more. People just people just don't really care no more. So because of this, you know, it is what it is. It's just been too many cases of women lying, women playing victim, women being full blown participants for like 20 plus years, and then trying to sue the dude. You clearly extort Diddy for how many millions of dollars, and then you drop a case on, and then now they're going to look at, now that you got the jury and these people looking at the sex tapes and you're clearly enjoying yourself, they're just like, bro, what stop. That's basically what the jurors are now. They're just looking at this like, and then they're hearing the story about you being quote unquote groomed at the age of what, 22. You're being groomed by Diddy at the age of 22. Really? Nobody's buying that. Nobody's buying that. And for the prosecution to make Cassie Ventura the one of the main focal points, if not the focal point of the case, that is a huge blunder, in my opinion, a huge blunder. And if Diddy goes free, I'm going to blame Cassie, and I'm going to blame the prosecution for being greedy, and the prosecution for using Cassie Ventura just because she's pretty, making her the focal point of the case. But anywho, anywho, exactly, she should be serving time with Diddy. But that's what I'll say. Even the normies think that. I would say even a lot of the normies, even like the pro woman, they're just like Cassie Ventura should be. I'm talking about like even black women. They're just like, I'm not buying it. Like in terms of when it comes to her, specifically when it comes to her, she should be spending time, but because of her, I would say this: Cassie Ventura is gonna ruin a lot of women's lives. And I don't even think that's a good like I don't even think it's a matter of fairness or whatever. It's just there's going to be a lot of women, unfortunately, that are going to suffer because of Cassie. Anyways, let's move on to another story. Something that I just saw. I was going to go over it on Instagram, but apparently they're already showing it on the New York Times. We got another teacher getting caught with his with a male student. Another teacher getting caught with a male student. They have the story on the New York Post too as well. So this is interesting. So, and apparently, according to this story, apparently like the teacher was so bogus that she told on herself. So that's how people were able to find out that she did what she did. Apparently, like she was so bogus about it, like she was so bogus. She was apparently she was talking to her friend about messing with a 16-year-old student. It's hilarious. Let me see some. Yeah, let's read it via the New York Times. Okay. It says a teacher at a high performing Michigan charter school that emphasizes lessons on moral virtues has been charged with having a sexual relationship with a student after telling a colleague about the illicit affair. An authority says so. She was so bogus that she told a colleague about their affair. This is crazy. This is wild. So they said her name is Jocelyn San Roman. Okay, Jocelyn San Roman, 26 of Pontiac, is facing a charge of third degree sexual conduct with a 16-year-old boy. The alleged sexual relationship. So you see how they always do this stuff. Because if it was a 26-year-old male teacher with a 16-year-old girl, they're not using sexual relationship. They're not using relation. They're not even using the word relationship. They're using the other R word. But it's so interesting when it comes to cases like this, or specifically when it comes to cases like this. It's interesting. Now people want to talk about, well, 16 is the age of consent. But then when men say that, well, 16 is the age of consent in most states in the United States, they consider you uh something. Was it an abuser sympathizer? That's what they be calling people like me and stuff. This is, but the even the language that they're using in the article, this is crazy. The alleged sexual relationship. What relationship? This is assault. This is, or what they call it, statutory. You know what? They said it took place in 2023 while San Roman was a teacher at Oakside Prep Academy, a charter school in Waterford Township, roughly 30 miles northwest of downtown Detroit. And let me see. Let's take a look at the picture of the woman. This because so this woman is what, 26 years old, and I keep telling you, Gen Z women are cooked. Gen Z women are they're fried. I'll say this: our women are fried, of all races, mind you, of all races, right? Because a lot of these, a lot of Gen Z women apparently like no, the problem with a lot of Gen Z women, they're so obsessed with, even including millennial women, they're so obsessed with high school, and they think that's the peak of their experience. So I don't know if you guys remember when I first started this channel, I would show people how you got these 22-year-old women. I'm talking about they'll go straight from college and they go straight into high school teaching. And they would brag about how, oh, I still feel like a high schooler. Or they'll say, oh, people still ask me for my ID card because they still think I look like a high schooler. And I was saying this, I'm like, that's kind of creepy, because if a man said that exact same sentiment, people would have an eye on that man. But women they were making TikToks about this, bragging about this stuff. And I was like, this is weird. This is weirdo behavior. But now people are finally starting to catch on, like, yo, we got a whole, people want to talk about, we have an incel epidemic and a red pill epidemic, and men becoming concerned. No. We have a female teacher epidemic that people like me have been, sounding the bell on, particularly since 2022. Okay. And you mean to tell me a woman that looks like this, you can't find no dudes your age? This is what I'm always wondering, because they'll talk about, oh, I can't find no dudes and all. I'm like, you can't find nobody, but you could find a 16-year-old boy that you're teaching. You can't find no other dude. I'm talking about 18 and up, because even if, like, because when, even when for some reason, when a woman is with a younger man, oh, she's not seen as a predator. So you got from ages 18 through 26 through 30s, 40s. You have all these ages to work with, and she's still dealing with underage boys. And that's just, it is what it is. And to the dudes, I'll be seeing dudes in the comment section talking about, I wish the teachers would do this to me and all this stuff. I'm like, y'all some weirdos. I mean, I'm talking about, these dudes will be in their 30s and they say stuff like that. It's one thing if you're like a teenager and you're saying something like this, but I'm talking about these dudes will be in their 30s, 40s. And I'm like, would you guys say the same thing if that was your son? If that was your 16-year-old son and you found out that the 26-year-old teacher has been basically grooming him, would you guys be saying the same thing? No, you would not be. So this is, and you notice they keep targeting younger and younger boys They keep targeting younger. It was one today's a 16-year-old. Remember, I did the other story. It was a 14-year-old last time. 13-year-old. They keep going younger and younger and younger. But because female teachers don't really get the hat put on them like they're an actual predator, because that's what they are, right? Because they're actual predators, they don't get that hat put on them. They're just able to get away with murder. So much so, she told a teacher and was basically talking about the encounter like it was like he was the boyfriend. Like, sorry, that like she had a boyfriend. And then imagine, like, you know how like you're gossiping about your sexual escapades, and she's just gossiping about it like it's a regular relationship, and meanwhile it's an underage boy. Even like real predators already know what they're doing is wrong, so they don't even put it out there. But she don't even like she has like no even sense of I'm doing something wrong in her mind. So she's got to be locked. Like women like this, or I'll say people like this, really need to be locked up, especially female teachers that are targeting young boys, because it's not like a woman like this doesn't have no options. Or that's at least that's what they like to tell us. That's what young women like to tell us. Oh, I got options. I don't even. Okay. Anyways, let's keep reading from the New York Times. They said as of morning, San Roman still hasn't been arraigned on a charge, but her mugshot was posted by Oakland County deputies. Click on Detroit reported. She told another teacher that she was having sex with a student, and that coworker informed police. Prosecutor said that's great for her to even like she was telling her colleague like she was just having sex with a regular guy. So she don't even know like her sense of right and wrong is not even there, because anybody knows even like if a like I said, if a male professional, if a 26-year-old male professional was dating a 19-year-old, he would be hesitant to tell his colleagues or to tell the colleagues the age. If it was a 26-year-old male professional dating a 19-year-old woman outside of his profession, he would be hesitant. But for her to just be like, just blabbermouth, like she was just hooking up with a Chad or something, but it was a 16-year-old boy, like, bruh, to just snitch on yourself like that, and it's not even snitching. She's just thinking it's all good. Wild. Okay, they say this defendant is accused of using her position of authority to exploit a minor victim. Oakland County prosecutor Karen McDonald says these allegations represent the ultimate breach of trust, blah, 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 blah. They say San Roman faces up to 15 years in prison if convicted on the third-degree criminal sexual conduct charge. I'm surprised they even are considering 15 years. They usually be trying to give these hoes like they'll be giving these hoes like 1 year for for being predators. Okay, they said Oakside Prep Academy is part of the National Heritage Academy system, which touts its moral focus and blah, blah, blah. I don't care about that. We already know what these hoes are on. They're on demon time. We already know this. But anyways, let's go back on the spiritual word. Let me see what the comments say. Let's see what the comments say for spiritual word. Okay. So right here, you have a woman here, and even the women are noticing. She says, "How come most of the teachers who do this are almost always women? Have y'all noticed?" And I believe this. I believe female teachers have been doing this for the longest. It's just now they're getting reported more. That's my opinion on that. I believe there's been a lot of female predators that have been going under the radar for, I'm talking about centuries. It's just now men are just coming forward. you know. But that's just my opinion on that. It is what it is. Oh, now they're trying to make it a race thing. Oh, Lord have mercy. Let's not do this. Let's not do this. Somebody said most of my teachers back in the day look like Hulk Hogan, and that's right. Back in the day, the teacher because back in the day the teachers weren't trying to look pretty for or trying to look young or pretty for the kids. But now I was telling about these new teachers, they're trying to they brag about quote unquote blending in with the students. They think they're young. They think they look younger than they are. You got these female teachers, they're targeting these young boys. Somebody said every week a new teacher gets caught and it's always the same type. Like I said, like a woman like this is what I would say. This is a 5, right? Or a 4. Some people will say this is a 4. I say this is a 5. She could find somebody. Especially her, she could find somebody her age. But like I said, remember, remember when I was talking about on this channel. Okay, let me bring up this point because I've always said this: women start young sexually, right? Now, you know how we talk about. So here's the thing. Here's the thing about this, and I don't think people have brought this point up yet. I don't think people have brought this point up. I'm sorry, I kind of sidelined my point. Forget the point I was about to make. Let me dive into this. I don't think this has been mentioned on this channel. You know how we talk about how if a kid has been a victim of molestation, um, if they've been raped, whatever, when you look at child offenders, most of the times that happened to them, right? Now, even though on this channel, I'll say, look, women start sexually young. So they'll be 13 years old messing with a guy in their 20s. Even though she doesn't think she's a victim then, she is a victim. And a woman like this, I guarantee you, she was probably like 12 or 11 when she started sexually. Right? So we have a whole, when I keep telling you, I think a lot of women start where well, the evidence is out there. We already like we talk about young teenagers, young teenage girls messing with older men is way more prevalent than we think. But now we got to take this a step further. Since if they are victims, why are we letting women that are victims being in charge of kids at a large mass? Why are we letting women that have been sexually active at a certain age, why are we allowing them around kids that same age, right? Because I bet you when she was 16 years old, she was messing with a guy at 26 years old herself. I bet you, because this looks like a Latina, and I'm telling you, like Latina girls, they be they be 14 years old messing with warehouse workers and truck drivers and stuff like that. Ice ice cream truck bro selling their punani to ice cream truck workers at the age of 14. Latina girls are are they're synonymous with doing stuff like this, catching rides with grown ninjas and truck drivers at the age of 30, and they be like 15 years old, 16 years old, hitchhiking with complete strangers. I bet you when she was 16 years old, she was messing with a 26-year-old man. So why are we letting women who they say, because remember, we'll take their word for it. They were victims. All right, we'll take your word for it. They say they were victims when they were messing with older dudes. Okay, so why are we allowing women like this around kids? Why are we allowing women like this around 16-year-old boys, 17-year-old boys? Because the stats show victims of SA, right? Victims of child abuse, they're most likely to do that. But here we have a whole thing of women who have been sexually active. I'm talking about before the age of 16, and their male partners were over the age of 20. They're victims, right? But you can't let so why are we letting victims being in charge of kids? Would you trust if there was a 14-year-old boy who unfortunately got touched up by a man or a woman 12 years their senior, right? Would you trust that boy when he's around that same age, especially if he got touched up by a man? Would you trust that boy to babysit your kids? You would not. You wouldn't, especially if he was really a victim. So you have a whole bunch of women out there. They talk about how they were victims when they were 14 years old. They were going out with these older dudes and they were victims, right? So why are we allowing these so-called victims around kids? This is something that needs to be. I don't even think this has been addressed on this channel because the stats show that the people that do these kind of things did the same thing happened to them when they were kids. So I bet you when she was 15, 14 years old, she was a quote unquote victim. Messing it was, that got touched up on or had sexual relations with an older man. Consensual or not, consensually or not, by law, she is a victim. So why are we letting victims around kids? Why are they allowed to become teachers? Because we already know when she was 16, she was messing with grown men. We already know that, right? So this. I don't even think this has been mentioned on this channel. So right here, yep, Pyro said it best. People who were victimized when they were kids end up victimizing other people later on in life. So I think now people are like, if we're going off that, why are we allowing a lot of these female teachers women that were sexually active when they were younger? Why are we allowing them around teenagers, especially kids similar of age of when they were supposedly victims, right? But that's something that they won't touch. That's something I think, yeah, that's something that the normies won't touch. And then on top, so then on top of that, I remember the original point I was going to make is women like this, since they started off sexually so young, they've already seen everything that they need to see. So usually when you have, so remember, like, they were talking about how like these NBA players, they've already had all types of sex by all types of women. They get bored of it. They don't even get turned on by the regular stuff. They end up venturing into other things, or they start experimenting with men, right? Because they're just not turned on by just the average sexual interaction with a woman because they've had it like a million times. So they start trying to do different things. So this could be, we could put that on her, and especially female teachers like her. They've done everything that they've done everything under the sun. And so by the age of like 21 or 22, they're already burnt out. So they're like, let me try some kids, unfortunately, right? Except in her case, she's already had all the sexual options. This is not out of desperation. This is just pure, I'm seeking out some kids. So this is why this why I believe, we talk about female predators are way worse, in my opinion, because they have options. They can have sex with who they want to have sex with, and out of all the people you want to have sex with, you want to have sex with a kid. So this is some interesting stuff. This is interesting. But anyways, let's talk about this tweet right here. Let's talk about this tweet. Now, I think this is one of these tweets that this is just for engagement. But this is funny. This is funny. Let's see if I can find her on Twitter. Let me open up Twitter. Now, well, formerly known as Twitter. Let me hit what's the bitch name? Her name is Winifred 2424. Winnie Fred 2424. Let's look at her. So apparently she's aware that her tweet went viral, and now she's trying to explain herself. So this is the tweet that we're going to talk about. She says here, met this guy yesterday. We got to talking. I told him my house rent will expire this month, and he suddenly stopped talking to me. I only told him. I didn't even ask him to pay. That's cap. First of all, I'm looking at the date. It's June 30th. It's around the end of the month, and rent is due. So yes, she was begging. You were dry begging. I'm sorry, and he picked up on it. Now she's trying to explain herself right here. She says, to be honest, a lot of you misunderstood my tweet. I never asked him for money. We were just having a conversation, and I simply mentioned that one of the challenges I'm currently facing is my house rent. That's it. I didn't ask him for anything, so stop twisting it like I did. I'm not a beggar, and I'd appreciate it if you stop coming to my DMs throwing insults. No, you were begging. This is how women beg. This is actually how women beg. Come on, stop it. Just take your L and move on. You were dry begging, and he noticed it. First of all, anybody that has had any experience with women, especially when you're talking about Gen Z women, they will pull this on you. They won't ask you for rent money. They'll just start talking about, oh man, I've been going through it. I've been struggling. I don't know what I'm finna eat. Y'all know that audio clip on TikTok that went viral. I don't even know if I'm gonna eat. I don't know what I'm going to eat. This is what they do, and they're indirectly begging you for money when they start bringing up their finances. This is what they do. Now, I don't know how this. I don't know. I swear, women have a very limited playbook. They really think that she's just gonna get away with this, and it's clear that she's begging. I'm talking about even the women are not even buying this. But the problem, women have such a very limited playbook. They're just gonna stick with that playbook and never change it up, because some all they need is just for one sucker to fall for it. That's all. They just need one sucker to fall for it. I wasn't begging for money. Yes, you were. Yes, you were. Stop. And by the way, I find it interesting. Women will, I always say this on my channel, women will screenshot everything. Anything you text message a woman, she'll screenshot it. They will screenshot everything except for them begging for money. Now, this is one of the rare instances where she tells on herself. This is one of the rare instances where you got a woman that's going to tell on herself. Pyro says, when you tell him your rent is due, he knew you were saying he should pay. Exactly. Hoping that somebody would be, quote unquote, generous. This is what women like to use these terms now. I want someone that's generous and someone that's a provider, these are just was it synonyms for trick. A provider is now a synonym for a trick. Someone that's generous and financial dating and um economic finding somebody economically attractive and all this. This is it's just it's hilarious. Pyro also says women in Jamaica do that too. Oh, I know. Pyro says I always tell them to hold up their stress, but it's just women be they pull it. They just pull. Especially now, what ends up happening is women have been told by TikTok or their women above them, where the dudes that are hollering at you, or if they're with a dude that they're not completely sold on, or if a dude is talking to them that they're not attracted to, they tell the woman to see if you can get some money out of him. I'm talking about off rip. I'm not talking about slow cooking him. I'm talking about just off rip. See if he can pay for something that you need. That's what they're coached to do. This is how they're coached to treat the men that they don't really like or that they're not really physically attracted to. See if you can get some money out of them. So if they're not completely attracted to you, then they're gonna pull that. Oh yeah, man, I've been struggling and all this stuff. They're not gonna ask you directly for money. They're just gonna talk about, oh man, I've been struggling at work. I don't know what I'm gonna do. I don't know what I'm finna eat. I don't know if I'm finna eat. Right? That's when they're gonna pull that on you. And like I said, I've already had that happen a couple times. I had that happen recently. I cut that off immediately, right? Oh wow, you doing too much. Yeah, you're right. We'll let you have that. Find somebody else to pay your rent, right? Find somebody else to pay your bills. It's not gonna be me. Okay. But this is how women will indirectly beg. Now, this is like I said, this is one of the rare cases where you'll have a woman snitch on herself. Like she's so brain dead or so stubborn in her playbook that she's just willing to just allow herself to get roasted. Let's open up spiritual word again. So let's look at the comment section. This is gonna be a fun. I already know this is gonna be a funny ass comment section. I didn't even look at it yet. This is gonna be a funny ass comment section. I already know. This dude said, "I think he's being considerate. You have a lot going on right now," and that's another. And that's a funny play on words. And that's the thing too. Like women like that are indirectly begging for money. They will say that I'm going through a lot right now. They'll say that. They'll say stuff like that, right? Somebody said, "Girl, you were dry begging." That's what I said. Like she's dry begging. This is your dry begging. You got if you're talking to this dude that you supposedly like, and now all of a sudden you're talking about how your rent is about to expire. He's gonna be gone. Especially the dudes nowadays. If they hear that, they already know what kind of demon time you want. Come on, because we already know the guys that she actually likes. She's not asking them for money. The pookies that she likes to have sex with and all this stuff, the dudes that she's really attracted to, she's not going to mention this. She's not going to mention that, oh, my rent is about to expire and all this stuff. Oh, my phone bill's about to go, my light's about to go out. She's not doing that to the guys that she really likes. She's not doing that. Somebody said, I just met you yesterday. Why are you telling me all that? And women will talk about trauma dumping, even though women do this the most. A woman goes, men, I'm starting to get it now because why? Especially on June 30th, on the last day of the month. So I'm not, obviously she didn't talk to him. Well, clearly. So she said she met this guy yesterday. So it's literally the day before the last day of the month, and you start talking about my rent is about to expire. He already knows what you're trying to do. Come on. Another lady goes, I would have stopped talking to her too. Somebody said, who wants somebody that's pre-homeless? Somebody said, you met him yesterday and told him about your rent. Operation Beggy Bundy failed. But this is like women will do this and they think they're not doing anything wrong. They really think I'm talking about they really think they're not doing anything wrong. They don't think this is like they think there's nothing inappropriate about this. And then they will indirectly beg for money. And when you call them out for indirectly begging for money, they will act like they will gaslight you. They will gaslight the you know what out of you and act like you're seeing something that's not there. And it's clear, everybody can see what you're doing. But women will look you dead in the face and be like, what's the problem? Is there something that I'm doing wrong? Where even I'm talking about even a kid can see that you're begging for you're indirectly dry begging for money by mentioning your financial decision one day before the last day of the month. I'm talking about even escorts won't do something. They're not gonna do that to every dude. Like, but in terms of if you got even the women on Demon Time, they're not going to admit this. The women on Demon Time are not even gonna admit this. But for her to just outright admit to what she's doing and still not see that she's doing something wrong. And like is and if the people that missed it, this is her follow-up tweet to her viral tweet. Look, I want you to let's look at the follow-up tweet to this. This is just gaslighting 101. She goes, to be honest, a lot of you misunderstood my tweet. I never asked him for money. We were just having a conversation, and I simply mentioned that one of the challenges I'm currently facing is my house rent. That's it. I didn't ask him for anything, so stop twisting it like I did. I'm not a beggar, blah, 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 blah. Stop it. Stop it. Kim Winifred, whoever you are, stop it. You snitched on yourself. Like when I first saw the tweet, I'm like, oh, she's doing this for engagement. Nope, she really thinks she just think this is normal. I can just if I'm talking to somebody or dating somebody, I can just mention my financial troubles near the end of the month and just think it's. I mean, are you serious? Like this is the type of bitch that get flown out and be shocked that the dude wants to have sex with her. These are the type of bitches that we be talking about that they act like that they act like, oh, where are you meeting these women? What do you mean? They're this, like I said, this is the type of bitch that you fly the bitch out, and she's shocked that the dude that flew her out wants to sleep with her. This is the type of nonsense that we're talking about. This is the type of bitch to 10 years later talking about I was trafficked and I didn't know. Please, please, man. I don't want to hear it. Oh, my bad. I forgot to share the tweet. This is the tweet that I'm talking about. She goes, to be honest, a lot of you misunderstood my tweet. I never asked him for money, blah, 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 blah. Right? This is the tweet that I'm talking about. Straight dry begging. Straight dry begging. Hold on for a second. Let me do because now my StreamYard is saying that I lost connection to something. Hold on for a second. Hold on. Because now my StreamYard is saying that I lost connection to something. Hold on for a second. Hold on. No. They say your browser has lost connection to your screen share audio. Try sharing your screen again. Okay, so let me hold on for a second. Let's remove this. Or how do I do this? Because I know people can still hear me, but they're saying my screen share audio is off. That's crazy. I don't know about all that. I don't know about all that. Let me check something real quick. Let's remove this. Okay, and now let's add to this. Okay, stop sharing screen. Okay, let's do this again. Just to make sure. I'm just double checking my stuff real quick. I'm double checking my stuff. But yeah, Miss, you just got caught dry begging. I'm sorry. You got caught dry begging. Pyro said, if a woman does that gaslighting thing to me, I'm definitely going to double down just because of that, because I'm petty. Yeah, like a lot of the things that women talk about, oh, this guy's a narcissist and he's this and he's abusive. It's a lot of that is projection. Like it'll be a woman will call a dude that she's sexually intimate with a narcissist, but the woman will have a whole Instagram of herself, just straight pictures of herself, just herself, and will call you a narcissist, call you abusive, call you controlling, all of that. Okay, let's look at the Twitter responses. Yeah, you know what? I forgot about this. So right here, this is what really happened. So let's read this comment right here from Ola Daniel. Let's read the last part of what he said. He said, your sole aim was to ridicule the guy online, but you got cooked. Now you go do exactly what Burner Boy talk. What he's trying to say is you was trying to cook him online. And I completely stepped over that point. Because the reason why she even made that tweet in the first place was to make it seem like that guy was bad for ghosting her. So remember, you'll have a lot of women complaining about being ghosted and doing all this stuff, and they don't give you the details on why they were ghosted or why a guy stopped talking to her or why a guy left her and all this stuff. But in this case, she basically snitched on herself. But in her mind, let me put this guy on blast for not for ghosting me and all this stuff. Let me, man bad, women good thing, men bad, women good. Men need emotional intelligence type tweet. But in her route, in her attempt to ridicule the guy, she ended up ridiculing her own self. Crazy work. Uh-oh, here we go. She replies. She goes, maybe you are the one who missed my point. Try and understand the tweet before you conclude. Oh, Lord. Somebody said, you're just a thief. Let's call a spade a spade. Facts. So she's actually replying to all these comments. She really thinks she didn't do anything wrong. And of course, you got some male simps on her side. So, yeah, so right here, somebody said, to be honest, I didn't misunderstand your post. He had a right to ghost you. And she replies back, and I have the right to call him out here for his stupid behavior. So it looks like the guy up top was right. She thought she was calling him out and end up calling herself out. This is how, when we talk, because people keep talking about, oh, why do you keep talking about women on this channel and blah blah blah? Because the thing is, when men are doing wrong, they know it so much because they know they're doing wrong, so they hide it, right? They try to make they try they because they know if people find out, they're going to be held accountable to it. But women are just so lacking of more. They'll say things and they don't even realize what they're saying is not even just wrong. It's just weird. Just I'm like, people don't do like, and a woman like this will talk about, oh, I got emotional intelligence. No, you don't. You're a woman, and because you're a woman, people will just allow you to just do whatever you want, like you're a cat, right? Let's see if I still got that graphic. What's that cat graphic that I have? That picture of the cat. Here we go. Right here. Because when I say on this channel, women are neither moral or immoral. Women are amoral, right? Immoral. The definition of immoral, an adjective you'd use to describe something that goes against established moral principles or is considered morally wrong on purpose. Amoral describes someone or something not influenced by moral principles or lacking any moral sense. So an example of this would be this tweet, right? It would be the tweet. It would just be this tweet right here, where she doesn't even understand this is not only just wrong, this is complete weirdo behavior. Anywho, somebody said these women don't be dating for love; they want a sugar daddy. Somebody said this is an example of male intuition. Facts. Somebody said he's seen the begging on the wall. I mean, writing. Facts. Somebody said, ladies, we know what dry begging is because why are you telling me about your rent and I just met you the day before? So he cut you off before you could call him a broke dusty. Facts. And there's no way you can't even argue the point. He said, in fact, a man says, you that boring, you don't have anything else to talk about on a first date besides bills. So, like I said, on a date, you're talking about your bills on a date. This is come on, that's one of the most obvious red flags for a man to tell that, oh, you don't really like me if you're talking about your bills. I'm talking about the first day you just met him yesterday, and you're already talking about bills. Come on, come on, come on. Anyways, let's talk about the James Harden civil suit. Okay. So everybody know I already did the video per se, right? Um with him being sued for negligence. Let me bring up the let me bring up what in the hell? Let me bring hold on for a sec. Before I even open, so let me put it on the paperwork first while I bring up the article. It should be on my history. I didn't delete. I don't delete the. I don't think I ever really had to delete any history on this laptop. Let me see. History. It should be there. Let me see. Yeah, I don't even delete no cookies on this laptop. Let me see. James Harden. Okay, let's do a search. No thanks. Da 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 da. I want to see the because there was a specific article that even showed the details that I wanted to see. Because a lot of these liberal media outlets, they be leaving out stuff. This is why a lot of the times I gotta read the actual paperwork. Like I gotta actually I read the paperwork and I'm like, they didn't even mention this in the let me see. It was what's it, Black and White Sports, I think I think James Harden sued Black and White. Let me see, Black and White Sports. The sports media outlets, Black and White Sports, and they had everything on there, and you could tell that they actually read the paperwork. Let's see something. Black and White Sports website. The Black and White. Nah. Oh, come on. What's that? Black. Let me see. Black. Let me search it up on YouTube real quick. The Black and White Sports Podcast. Let me see if they put their website on there. Let me see. Well, I guess no. It looks like we'll go. We'll read the liberal media. I don't because I don't like how they cover these cases. They because they leave out a lot of stuff. And what I liked about the web, like when where I did the video off the website, you can tell they read the paperwork. I was like, oh, they read the paperwork. Hold on for a sec. So let's do. We'll try the liberals way. Sued for negligence. Okay. Because I don't like these websites the way they cover it. I'll be like, oh, they didn't do their homework. But we'll do New York Times or the what's it, the Athletic. Okay. They leave a because they be leaving a lot of stuff out. But anyways, let's read the article first. Okay. Let's read the article first before we dive into the paperwork. Because in my opinion, the paperwork is always key. Okay, so let's read the article. It says LA Clippers guard James Harden has been accused of negligence in a civil suit. Remember, this is a civil suit filed in Harris County, Texas, that also includes allegations of SA against Harden's nephew, Justice Armani Blackburn. The complaint, which was filed on Monday, derives from actions that are alleged to have occurred in Harden's New Year's Eve party at his home in Houston. The plaintiff, Marissa Watley, alleges that Blackburn raped her at the party while she was unconscious. Watley also alleges negligence against Harden due to the conduct of his in-home security staff on the morning of New Year's Day. Okay, so that's a decent summary, but even with that summary, they leave out a lot of things because I'm speed reading through the article. They leave out a lot of things. So at least I'm looking through the article. It's at least they mentioned that Watley and her friends. So, okay, you see, they're leaving out a lot of stuff. So they're just so in this article, they don't even show that Watley, the what's it, the realtor, that she's a realtor. They don't like which is these things are key. Who these women are or who the woman that's actually complaining, who the plaintiff is. These are important details. You can't leave these things out. That she's a realtor, sort of like, oh, she's a realtor. We already know what time it is. Because they already know if they attach a realtor to her name, they're like, uh-oh. So I'm looking at this. They're not mentioning that she's a realtor. They're not even mentioning that they met Harden at the VIP section at the club. They're leaving all of this stuff out while I'm speed reading through this. This is interesting. This is why I don't like Yeah, this is why I don't like reading from these articles because I just sped read through this. I just speed read through this, and they're leaving out these very important details, especially the part that she's a 40-year-old woman that is a realtor accusing a 27-year-old Justice Armani Blackburn of SA. And we'll read this in the paperwork. Now, if you guys watched the video that I dropped, I forgot the website I used. I was like, oh, they read the paperwork. Because when you read the paperwork, the story will actually make sense. So let's read the paperwork. Because I get tired of seeing these articles, these news articles. You see how like the news articles, a lot of them left out the stuff that Joy Taylor did in her situation with the hairstylist. And you see how all the news articles only focus on her encounter with Skip Bayless, right? And maybe some things that Charlie Dixon may have done. And they just let Joy Taylor, like they said nothing about Joy Taylor. It was only due to Twitter users, the users of Twitter, the users of Instagram, that people were able to the users of Twitter and Instagram put Joy Taylor on blast. The main news articles, the mainstream news articles, they acted like Joy Taylor was not even part of the situation. So that's why with the Joy Taylor situation, I'm like, let me read the whole paperwork with this lawsuit. Let me read the whole lawsuit with this. Because this is ridiculous. But here we got the paperwork right here. And guys, like this paperwork is only 18 pages long. So this is beautiful. So this is going to be a quick read because we already know half of these pages are just it's just filler. It's just filler, right? So this is going to be quick and easy. Pause. All right. Marissa Watley, plaintiff, versus Justice Armani Blackburn, which is James Harden's nephew, James Harden, John Doe security guards 1 through 10, and the Doe corporate employer of John Doe security guards 1 through 10. So she's suing James Harden specifically, James Harden's nephew, the security guards, the company that the security guards are employed by, and James Harden's estate, since it happened on his property, the alleged graping or assault, right? Okay, so we already read the plaintiff's original petition. Okay, the preliminary statement. Let's read the preliminary statement. Let's because they try to give the preliminary statement in the New York Times, but they left out a lot of stuff. Okay, so let's read the preliminary statement. It says plaintiff Marissa Watley was brutally raped by defendant Justice Armani Blackburn following a New Year's Eve party at defendant James Harden's mansion home. Before this horrific assault occurred, Miss Watley's friends alerted Miss Harden's security team that they were concerned that Miss Watley appeared to be missing somewhere in the house, and Mr. Harden's security team was aware that women were passed out from intoxication throughout the house and was aware that Miss Watley was present in the house with Mr. Blackburn, was aware that Miss Watley was in a vulnerable condition in which she lacked the ability to consent, and was aware that Mr. Blackburn had engaged in criminal conduct towards others. Nonetheless, Mr. Harden's security team recklessly failed to protect Miss Watley on Mr. Harden's property, and the result was a SA from which she will suffer indefinitely. Okay. Now this is filler. They're just saying this is where Marissa Watley is from. So they say Marissa Watley's from the state of Texas, blah, blah, blah. They put in they put Justice they put James Harden's nephew's residence on full blast. God, they put his house there. They even put James Harden's house. Look at this. Defendant Watch this, guys. Please avoid lawsuits if you can. Look at this, because now this is public. This is public information now. Defendant Justice Armani is, upon info and belief, a resident of the state of Texas. Defendant Blackburn may be served with process at 302 Glenwood Drive, Houston, Texas, 7707. They put his whole address there. They put James Harden's address there with his residence, 3 West Rivercrest Drive, Houston, Texas, 77042. Damn. That's crazy. Guys, please avoid lawsuits. They put both of these people's address. Wow. Wow. That's crazy. That's crazy. Okay, so now, right here, now the official story, the paperwork. So it's labeled here, facts. And we should really put that in quotation marks, but whatever. Yep, they doxed him. They basically just doxed him. That's crazy work, but it is what it is. This is what, man. Anywho. Okay, they go facts. Miss Watley is raped by defendant Blackburn. Okay, so right here, this is where we get to see the info of Miss Watley, or Marissa Watley, the woman that you see in the thumbnail. Let's see if I can bring up a picture of her, because she locked her Instagram. By the way, she put her Instagram on private. By the way, Marissa Watley. But let's bring her up. So this is Marissa Watley right here, the 40-year-old realtor. So you already know, like, a woman like this. First of all, she's not a successful realtor. I already know that. Like women, like pretty women like that, they're part of a team. Maybe she might be part of a team of successful realtors where she still gets some credit, but she's not like she's not like a real top producing realtor. The actual top producing female realtors are not women like that for the most part. Respect, and I say this respectfully, but let me go back to the paperwork right here. Miss Watley, 40 years old, is a real estate agent in Texas and New Jersey. She lives in Houston, Texas. Around 10:45 p.m. on New Year's Eve, December 31st, 2024, she arrived at a restaurant where she met her two friends, referred to hereinafter with the pseudonyms Jane and Emily, right? So they're going to call her friends Jane and Emily. Miss Watley had driven and parked her car at the restaurant while Jane and Emily had taken a car service. Eventually, Jane reached out to a friend and learned there was a party happening at a club called Polecats. Miss Watley drove Jane and Emily back to Jane's apartment to change, and Miss Watley also changed into some clothing she had with her in her car. The three of them took an Uber to Polecats, which was near Jane's apartment. Jane's friend came to the door and brought three of them into the club and then led them to what appeared to be the VIP section of the club. In the VIP section, Jane asked whether Miss Watley knew the basketball player James Harden and pointed out that Harden was there in the VIP section. This was around 3:30 a.m. So, in other words, these hoes, first, they went to a restaurant first. They didn't go straight to the club. They met up with each other at a restaurant. They met up and started researching what clubs are popping tonight at Houston. Who's where? Who's at the spots tonight? And lo and behold, they get intel that James Harden is going to be at a specific club. You see how they try to make it like, oh, we're just looking at clubs to find out. No. You had some inside information that James Harden was at a specific club. That's why you guys met at the restaurant. Then y'all went back home to change, and y'all met up with each other again to go to a specific club. You went straight to the VIP section looking for James Harden. This is eerily similar to the Jovi Pena case with Kai Cenat and his associate Jiggy. Damn near the same thing. New Year's Eve party, Negro themed New Year's Eve theme party. Same difference. Watch this. Look at this. They said in the VIP section, Jane asked whether Miss Watley knew the basketball player James Harden and pointed out that Harden was there in the VIP section. This was around 3:30 in the morning. So we already know why she was there. She was there to hook up with James Harden. And if any woman is gonna act like I'm crazy for saying this, stop. Like, I mean, bruh, stop, please. I will say certain stuff like this, and then and then they will act like I'm wrong for saying that, and it's clear as day. They were scheming and plotting to see which spot was popping. Line 18. Soon after Jane learned, likely through a friend, that there would be an after party at Mr. Harden's home, Miss Watley got into an Uber with Jane and Emily, thinking they were headed back to Jane's apartment. Can they stop this? You see this? Okay, you see what they just said? Okay, let me reread this again. They go, soon after Jane learned, likely through her friend, that there would be an after party at Mr. Harden's home. No, she says, soon after Jane learned that there would be an after party in Mr. Harden's home. So they're just acting like, oh, there's going to be after party. She just happened to learn about this information. And so then right after, it goes in line 19, Miss Watley got into an Uber with Jane and Emily, thinking they were headed back to Jane's apartment. Instead, without Miss Watley knowing the destination, the Uber took them to the after party at Mr. Harden. So yeah, y'all all, come on, stop it. You guys all knew you were going to. You guys all knew you were going to Mr. Harden's home eventually. Stop. Oh, I thought I was going back home. I just happened to know about the after party. In passing, I learned it in passing. Please. I can already hear AJ's voice. Please. I can distinctly hear AJ's voice, just like, please. Oh, I didn't know I thought we were going home, but even though we just happened to know about the after party, we're going to James Harden's house. It was a surprise. Please stop. You see, oh my goodness, man. First of all, you can't even go into an Uber and not know where you're going. What are you talking? You got to tell the Uber your destination before. Oh my God. This is the nonsense. Homie, there are real victims out here, but because of people like this, they're never gonna get believed again. Because like the real what ends up happening is, to the real victims, they end up not saying anything. They end up not saying anything, or if they do end up taking a stand, they end up getting bullied off the stand. Okay, I almost lost my mind there. I'm sorry. Line 21. There was at least one security guard at the gate, and a guard viewing guest identification and instructing the guests to leave their phones in their cars. Of course, Miss Watley could not do this because she had came in an Uber. But she said she didn't know where she didn't know she was going straight to James Harden's house. Okay. Oh, Lord have mercy. Okay. Line 22. The guard was armed with a firearm and checked Miss Watley and her friend's identification. A guard directed the guests to go to the studio in Mr. Harden's home. When Miss Watley arrived at the studio, she noted that it appeared to be a recording studio. Miss Watley saw that Mr. Harden was there. At some point in the early morning, Justice Armani Blackburn, Mr. Harden's nephew, though Miss Watley did not know this at the time, approached the three women. Miss Watley recalls a simple introductory conversation with Mr. Blackburn where she and Mr. Blackburn asked each other where they came from, blah, blah, blah. Mr. Blackburn offered Miss Watley, Jane, and Emily a drink from the bottle of liquor he was holding. The three of them each took a small drink from the bottle, which is cap. They probably drank way too much, but that's a whole other story. Around this time, Miss Watley noticed that there was a woman asleep on a couch in the studio. From the moment Miss Watley drank from Mr. Blackburn's bottle, her memory becomes extremely hazy. Or you see, hold. Let me show y'all something for a sec. She's acting like she got hazy because she drank something from the bottle. No, you were hazy because you were at a ninja's house at 3:30 in the morning. You were already tired. You should have been in bed. You were at a party at 3:30 in the morning. You were tired. Now I know a lot of women are nocturnal, particularly when we talk about club women and women that love to go to clubs. A lot of women are nocturnal beings. They live for the nightlife, right? So they tend to stay up late at night. But still, it's 3:30 in the morning and you were drinking. Yes, you're gonna be tired. Yes, you're gonna be tired. Right. And it was interesting in this article, they don't mention once that this took place 3:30 in the morning. They don't mention once this was 3:30 in the morning. And with good reason, because now when you're talking about, oh, I was tired, I fell asleep after the drinks. No, you were asleep. You felt sleepy because it was 3:30 in the morning. Even if she didn't take a drink, she would have been sleepy either way. She goes, from that moment, Miss Watley drank from Mr. Blackburn's bottle. Her memory becomes extremely hazy. Line 29. She can recall trying to speak to Jane about a woman who was dancing, but she was fading in and out and felt as though she could not speak. She also recalls Mr. Blackburn saying, come on, to her repeatedly and tapping her on the chest as though he wanted her to join him somewhere urgently. Yeah, I'm calling cap on that. Mr. Blackburn knew he was running out of time before Miss Watley passed out. Oh, they're trying to make it seem like he's Bill Cosby. Oh, man. The next thing Miss Watley recalls is being shocked into consciousness while lying face down on a bed with a man behind her having aggressive sex with her. For the first few moments that she can recall of the assault, she was in a dreamlike state and was not fully awake. During those few first seconds, Miss Watley likely reacted in a way that indicated she was no longer unconscious, even if she was still only semi-conscious. Mr. Blackburn continued his essay and, apparently nearing an orgasm, demanded for Miss Watley to tell him if she was on birth control, stating as best as Miss. Okay, she said she was sleepy and drugged. How does she remember all of this? Oh my goodness, this is just way too much cap going on. She was able to quote him verbatim saying, are you on birth control? I want to release myself inside of you. Please tell me. Miss Watley recalls saying only no, no, no repeatedly. She then realized that the person using her as a sex instrument was Mr. Blackburn, whom she had met the first time in the studio shortly after she had arrived at the house, although she did not at this time know his name. So low key, she's admitting there's a lot of things that could be going on here. But low key, she's kind of admitting that she probably thought it was James Harden, or she was so hazy. Or basically she's regretting that it was Blackburn and not James Harden. Okay. Line 34. At some point, Mr. Blackburn stopped R wording Miss Watley. Miss Watley recalls seeing her pants inside out on the floor and him picking them up and putting them on. Miss Watley began frantically looking for her phone and asking Mr. Blackburn where it was. Mr. Blackburn indicated that he did not know where it was. Throughout this experience, Miss Watley had only barely regained consciousness and was struggling to understand what was happening around her. So she's talking about how she lost consciousness and then suddenly regained consciousness after the act. So I'm talking about, she said she was hazy during the act, which could not be no more than 3 to 5 minutes. Which could, like let's be honest, this could have been no more than 3 to 5 minutes. So you was sleepy for 3 to 5 minutes, and then all of a sudden, after the quote unquote act was done, you regain consciousness, like you the Undertaker, like you're Tyson Fury when he got knocked out by Deontay Wilder. But automatically you're looking for your phone. Okay. Let's read from line 36 again. It says, Miss Watley began frantically looking for her phone and asking Mr. Blackburn where it was. Mr. Blackburn indicated that he did not know where it was. Throughout this experience, Miss Watley had only barely regained consciousness and was struggling to understand what was happening around her. At some point, a security guard in Mr. Harden's employ entered the room and ordered Miss Watley to leave the mansion. Miss Watley cannot recall seeing Mr. Blackburn after this time. She says she can't recall a lot of things, but she can recall a lot of things. Oh my goodness. Okay, Miss Watley told the security guard that she had lost her phone and begged the guard to take her to look in the studio. He let her do this, but followed closely behind her. Miss Watley passed through the studio and saw the same woman was still passed out on the couch. Miss Watley worried that this woman may have been drugged. Please stop. Line 41, the guard, if you saw, especially because she said she saw that woman in the beginning, if you already had suspected that, you would have left. And if that was a real concern, you would have been calling people out off rip. So let's not do this. Line 41. The guard then proceeded to cruelly kick Miss Watley out of the mansion. As he brought her out of the house, Miss Watley tried to explain that she had no way of traveling without her phone. The guard told her that Elena, which was Miss Watley's sister's name, was coming to pick her up, though she did not understand how that had been arranged or if he was even referring to her sister. He walked her to the front gates and then closed the gates behind her. Once outside the gate, confused and disoriented, Miss Watley stopped a woman who was walking her dog and asked for help. The woman offered to call her father and explained that they lived across the street from Mr. Harden. This woman's father arrived with a phone, offering to let Miss Watley call someone, but Miss Watley did not have any useful phone numbers memorized. Of course she didn't. She wished to call her sister Elena, but could not. So, like I said, if this was really a situation, she would have called 911, but you already know. She asked Mr. Harden's neighbor to find her sister on Instagram. When he did, he sent Miss Watley's sister an Instagram message around 2:17. Shortly after, however, Jane and Emily pulled up in a car and Miss Watley quickly got in. Jane and Emily looked visibly frightened. They had her phone, and Miss Watley was finally able to call her sister around 2:30 p.m. God damn. That's why this bitch was tired and hazy the whole time. This bitch had no sleep throughout the whole day. Later, she would notice numerous missed calls from a California phone number beginning at 1:35 p.m. She learned that this number was Mr. Blackburn's, though she does not recall sharing her number with him. Yeah, right. Miss Watley went to an emergency room the same day as the assault. She has been struggling to recover mentally from what occurred. Okay, that's interesting. They said that she went to the emergency room the same day as the assault, but did she go to the emergency room and got an actual grape kit done? Even though that really doesn't prove anything, but that's interesting. They're not really specific on what she went to the emergency room for. That's very interesting. Okay, line 51. It says since the event, she speaks with a heavy stutter, a symptom of severe trauma. With the help of her sister, she is seeking therapy and psychiatric help. She will be suffering from the fallout of this event her entire life. Okay, so section 2. Mr. Harden's security personnel deliberately delay and prevent the rescue of Miss Watley. So now this is the section where she's going to blame the guards for what happened. Let me see how many pages that is. Okay, so okay. So apparently that part is longer than what I just told you. Okay. They said it was not a coincidence that Jane and Emily pulled up. Oh, but before I go in the second section, okay. All right, this is good. All right, we should be good here. All right. Okay. Okay, they said it was not a coincidence that Jane and Emily pulled up in a car at the moment they did. As Miss Watley would learn later, the two had been frantically engaged for several hours in efforts to find and rescue Miss Watley. Well, they were frantic because she didn't have her phone. Well, sorry, they had her phone, but they didn't know where she was. And her dumbass didn't see. First of all, she wasn't even supposed to bring her phone with her, but she did and ended up losing it. Thankfully, her friends had it. They say Miss Watley's sister Elena had led those efforts at around a little before 10 a.m., approximately only hours before Miss Watley recalls being raped. Jane and Emily regained consciousness. They too had passed out and lost consciousness shortly after drinking from Mr. Blackburn's bottle. Remember when I told you that situation that happened when I was in college and that bitch that thought she could smoke weed, she couldn't smoke, and then she ended up passed out on the couch. This like women will do stuff like this and then talk about something happened to them. Man, stop. And you know what's crazy? It's probably when we're looking at the situation, she probably there's a good possibility that sex didn't even happen with this situation. It's a good possibility sex didn't even happen. But anyways, they said like Miss Watley when she woke up, Jane and Emily found themselves in front of security guards who were demanding that they immediately leave Mr. Harden's home because they were passed out in a house that it's not theirs. They were probably like, "Who are these drunk bums are still here in this house?" That's why they kicked them out. They try to act like so they're trying to act like they kicked them out to cover up a crime, but really you got kicked out because y'all was some drunk 304s still hanging out at a residence where you guys should have been gone, and that's why you guys got kicked out. You guys had a time limit. Y'all wasn't supposed to stay at James Harden's residence forever. So they're saying that they were missing personal items like keys, So yeah, it looks like, so right here, it looks like a lot of them were mad because they were rushed out of the door because they couldn't really find their stuff, even though the people told them to leave their stuff in the car, in their cars, or the cars that they came in. They told them leave their phones, leave your purse, and all this stuff, but they still brought everything with them. And now, once they're trying to leave, now all of a sudden, I can't find my stuff. Leave. Oh man. They said before they were escorted out, however, Jane found Miss Watley's iPhone and took it with her. So basically, we're looking at, so basically this I'm about to skip this whole part with the security, not because it's long, but because this is bogus. This is bogus. They're trying to come up with an excuse on why the security guards rushed them out or escorted them out. And they're talking about it's what time did they say that they escorted them out? Around what, 10 a.m. or something? They was still in James Harden's house at 10 a.m. They should have been gone. And they're just shocked that the security guards. I'm like, you hoes need to leave. Oh my god. It's 10 a.m. and they still at James Harden's house, supposedly passed out. Them security guards are probably thinking y'all was some homeless hoes. Oh man. So right here, so to appearances, his guards had a modus operandi for quickly ejecting passed out women from Mr. Harden's mansion as soon as they woke up, but not before. Bruh, it was 10 a.m. It's 10 a.m. Y'all gotta leave. Y'all should have been gone. What is wrong with these bitches, man? Y'all, I'm gonna put the link. Oh, I don't think I can do that. Never mind. But you should be able to find the PDF online. So here, basically, you had Hose having a panic attack because her friends had her phone. They couldn't find her. Marissa Watley was at somebody else's house because she didn't already been kicked out herself. She's messaging her sister via Instagram on somebody else's phone because she doesn't have her phone. The sister's panicking. Everybody else is panicking. They can't find her, but they have her phone. Bruh, this is a whole mess. It looks like her friends and her, it looks like the situation is, yeah. Yeah, it looks like they were upset about the situation in terms of they weren't able to find their friend. They weren't like when Marissa Watley was allegedly missing, they couldn't find her, even though they had her phone. They didn't know where she was. The sister didn't know where she was, even though she got a message allegedly from her Instagram account off of somebody else's phone. Nobody could find her. So that's really what this is all about. And now they're trying to put it on because this whole situation is a mess. Because now, when you're putting people in situations like this, right? You already know James Harden is never going to invite these bitches ever again because of the whole panic. Because you already know James Harden's neighbors like, oh, there was these holes. You already know James Harden's neighbors like, yo, I had to give one of your hoes on my phone because she lost it. Then he's gonna remember. Oh, these are the hoes, and they're never gonna get invited again. So they got nothing out of the situation, out of the opportunity of being with James Harden, and now they're trying to put a case on him. This is case closed right here. They got nothing out of the situation. So now they're trying to run a narrative that there were other drugged women in the house. There was other women passed out that they saw in the house, and they did nothing. Come on. Let's. This is ridiculous. This is ridiculous, man. Okay. Let's read the conclusion. They say, by the actions and omissions described above, the security guards employed by Mr. Harden failed to exercise reasonable care in protecting Miss Watley from a foreseeable danger of grape by Mr. Blackburn. Their policy of letting drugged women lie unprotected also led to a foreseeable risk of grape. Mind you, these are the same women that they said they saw in the beginning once they came into the house. Mr. Harden is vicariously liable for the actions of his guards and their corporate employer. Plaintiff is therefore entitled to economic, compensatory, and punitive damages against defendants James Harden, John Doe Security Guards 1 through 10, and Doe Corporate Employer of John Doe Security Guards 1 through 10 in an amount to be determined at the trial. This is ridiculous. It says jury demand. Plaintiff demands a jury trial and tenders the appropriate fee with this petition. This is ridiculous. This is a laughable lawsuit. This is a laughable lawsuit. What a waste of time. What a waste of time that was. I'll say this: I had way more fun with the Joy Taylor reading of that situation. That was interesting. I thought that was some interesting insight. This had no interesting insight. These were some lazy hoes that could not wake up on time, and they were mad that they was rushed out like the hoes that they were, and they didn't get paid for it. And because their friend lost their phone, they were panicking because they couldn't find their friend, and they realized they made themselves look stupid in front of James Harden and company and his security team because they know now they're not gonna get him invited back. People don't understand, like, when you got hoes like Marissa Watley, her friends, when you see certain hoes make their way into the industry and they become quote unquote industry girls, they have to earn a level of trust with these celebrities. So they have to play their role. They have to keep their mouth shut. When the celebrities tell them to move, they move. When the celebrities tell them to leave, they leave. So potentially they can get invited back if they follow instructions. And clearly this turned into a mess. So now, because they weren't able to follow instructions, because their friend went missing and caused a mess and drama at the neighbor's house, because they couldn't find their friend. Now, James Harden, if James Harden already knew of these hoes before their encounter, he's definitely not gonna call them or especially her again. So they ruined their chance. They ruined their chance of being called back, and they ruined their chances of being recommended by a friend of the celebrity, which is the nephew of James Harden. If they played their role, if everything went to plan, they could have gotten called back, or the nephew would have been like, "Hey, I know these bunch of girls, yo, they cool, they mad chill, they willing to down it, you know." Like when you see bitches like India Love, right? You see her going viral again, like, the industry pass arounds. That's how they start off. They start off as party girls going to certain people's houses, but they end up playing their position. They do what they're supposed to do, and they keep getting called back, right? and then they're able to get a fee off it, and they start being known as one of the party girls or one of the reliable bitches that you can call for a quick smash, or somebody you can just call to just hang out with. So these hoes realize they ruined their chance, and now they're trying to put a case on Blackburn. Shout out to Garrett Grant. He says, "Yeah, this sounds just like a bunch of nothing. Yeah, this lawsuit was a complete waste of time. This is like the complete opposite of the hairstylist Faraji. This is the complete opposite. Like, this is just a lawsuit of some ladies, or particularly a woman that regretted the situation, that she regretted that this this was a heist job gone wrong. They saw this as their opportunity to be in front of a celebrity and see if they can get a call back. They failed their audition. They caused way too much drama. They didn't follow instructions, and now they're trying to get something out of this, but particularly Marissa Watley, the 40-year-old. Mind you, she's 40 years old, and she's sitting there going to restaurants and club hopping at the age of 40, looking for young NBA athletes to trick on her at 40, at the age of 40 years old. This is why Corey Holcomb was talking about older women with younger men, and he was calling out older women for trying to cheat the game, because he knows that women are not looking for younger men and not paying. And so, like, like older women, they've been hoes for all their lives. They got nothing to show for it. Now the men their age, they're not willing to take care of them, and now they're not looking to take care of a younger man. Like those older, you'll see, like, those older white women with money. They be buying these these African dudes, whatever. At least they'll pay them. These new old hoes now, they're looking for young men, but they're not paying for them. They're looking for young men to pay for them. This is They got the whole game messed up right now. This is what Corey Holcomb was talking about, because there was a lot of simpletons in the comment, like, but Corey, weren't you with younger women yourself? Why are you worried about what older women are doing? I thought you weren't worried. No, 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 no. Because it's already implied that the older man is paying. Corey Holcomb has said himself, "I am a proud trick." He's never made it a secret. He's just talking about older women being with younger men, because he already knows you're trying to groom these men into paying for your lifestyle when they don't know no better. Because people talk about, oh, older men are preying on younger women because younger women need money. Bro, all women are looking for men to pay for their lifestyle. All women, in some sort of way, or in some shape or form, they're looking for a man to pay for their lifestyle, a man to pay for their life. So now, because I don't know if you guys would notice, it is a lot. You're seeing a lot of these NBA players now with these older women. Obviously, most notably Jalen Green, but you've seen Jaylen Brown, you've seen Zion Williamson. A lot of these NBA players, or PJ Washington with Brittany Renner, you have older women targeting young men, particularly young men with money, young men with careers, and they're talking about, oh, young men are just attracted to me. No, 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 no. You're targeting these young men because you already know the men your age are not falling for that nonsense that you were trying to pull. They seen what you did in your younger years, going after older dudes, and now those same older dudes are not checking for you no more. So now you're looking for younger men with money to pay, to younger men with no experience to pay for you. If you're, like I said, it's not necessarily that I have a problem with older women with younger men, but if you're going to be doing that, you need to be the sugar mama. You're now in sugar mama status. You're paying. But like I've shown you videos before where you had, like, remember I showed you the video of the older woman where she said, "Oh, sexually, I really liked being with this younger dude, but she eventually got tired of this dude because he didn't quote unquote want big boy responsibilities." I was like, but I'm like, you're the woman in your 40s, the guy's in his 20s. You're supposed to be paying for him. You're the trick, quote unquote, right? You're it in the trick position. You're supposed to be paying him, not the other way around. You're supposed to be back. Remember back in the day where if it was like one of those older nurses with these younger dudes, they would be paying for his lunch. They'd be paying for his, paying. They'll be paying for his Jordans, paying for his Timberlands, and all this stuff. Remember the older women back then that was messing with younger dudes on the low? They were paying his child support. They were paying for him. You got older women now looking for looking for younger men to pay for. That's not how the game works, bro. Come on. This is not how the game works right here. Old enough to be your aunt, Chris. Just remember that. Like, it shouldn't even be a discussion. Like, if you're an older woman dating a younger man, especially when you're talking about 10, I'll be seeing 10 or 12-year differences, or I've seen older women like bragging about being married to a younger man 10 years, 10 years, they're seen like 10 years younger than them, and the guy is paying for everything. And they're bragging about. I'm like, shouldn't you be paying? You're the 42-year-old and you're bragging about being with a 30-year-old paying. How, how does that? I'm like, okay, that's interesting. But this is why I even say like it's pointless when we talk about women in the workplace or promoting women in certain positions in the workplace, because they're just trying to keep the monies to themselves. When men get money, they're like, okay, I can finally have a family. I have enough money to date. I have enough money to take care of other people. When women get the money, they're just looking at like they're just okay. I'm just gonna hoard it all to myself, and I'm just gonna spend it on all myself. This is why it's pointless to promote women in that. It's because the more you promote men, if you center it around men, you indirectly you're indirectly helping the economy, because that man is going to pay for this. He's going to pay for. He's gonna, or if that man is getting a lot of money, he's going to hire employees, right? If he has a company, he's going to hire people to do all the slight work, right? So he thinks he has enough money to have a family, right? When you promote women, they don't think about having families. They think about, oh, I'm a boss chick. So all the money doesn't circulate. The money doesn't circulate. This is why it's pointless to really promote women in these spaces in terms of them getting most of the money, because they don't share the wealth. Pyro the Flame King says, "You're the sugar mama. You the bigger one. You're running the show now." But like they don't want to pay. They still don't want to pay their bills. They want a young. They're looking for younger men to pay their bills. That's I don't even know what to say. But I've been noticing this trend. I've been noticing this trend for a while now. But yeah, Marissa Watley, you foul. She's sitting there trying to get a come up off of James Harden I'm talking about they're 40 years old. This woman is 40 years old, searching up certain bars and clubs and going on Twitter trying to see which celebrities at which spot, like she's in her 20s. This is crazy, man. Yep. Pyro says that's what an older dude says. When a man wins, everyone wins, but when women win, she only wins. But not even that. Like, if when women win, they just destroy themselves, especially if there's no male guidance. When you're looking at most of the OnlyFans models that's actually making a lot of money and all this stuff, they have male managers, right? Most of the more successful porn stars and all this stuff, they have male managers. Like, remember that Gucci third leg? I think his name is Gucci third leg. Remember when he had spread herpes with that Danae Davis girl? If she had a male manager or if she was in the porn industry, she would have never caught herpes. But now you got this whole OnlyFans thing where now they put all their content on OnlyFans. So now it takes away the quote unquote the patriarchal male pimp, and the studios are losing money and etc. They're their own independent people. Yeah, but if she had a male manager would have made sure that Gucci third leg was getting tested. There's a reason why Gucci third leg wasn't working. He had no work with any of these studios and all this. Oh, I just want to do things independently. Nah. If I was Danae Davis manager, I'd be like, where's your STD test? All these bitches talking about, oh, he faked the test. No, you didn't. You didn't force him to take the test. You didn't force him to take the test. That's because everybody can bring up my charts on their phone and all this stuff. There's no. You wanted to collaborate with Gucci third leg because you liked him, and you were just, and particularly when I'm talking about Danae Davis, and you were just hoping to God that he wasn't, that he didn't have something. So, like I said, without that lack of male guidance, so even if you are earning a lot of money, they're still doomed to self-destruct. So now I'm pretty sure Danae Davis, she ain't getting no more work. Streamers are not inviting her onto her platform anymore. No more Twitch stream. Aiden Ross is not inviting her no more, right? Deshae Frost and all these people that she was on the platform with, she's not invited to these spots no more. OnlyFans subscriptions gone down. She's getting fatter and fatter and fatter. She destroyed her OF career before it even started. No male manager. Because a male manager would have forced Gucci third leg to be like, okay, where's your STD test? But yeah, all these lists of bitches that collaborated with this ninja. And let's be honest, you guys did not force him to get a test. Talking about he had it 3 or 4 years ago, and what? Y'all talking about he didn't fake no results. You did not enforce an STD test because you already know how the porn studios, you already know how they work. They test before and after. Sometimes they do a test twice if they have to. It's constant testing. But let's keep it about with this whole OnlyFans stuff. I already knew that was bound to happen because at the end of the day, there's only so many male adult stars, right? And we already know it's going to be a ninja that's getting a lot of the hoes that's going to be spreading most of the STDs. You already knew that was going to happen eventually. Oh, we're independent. We don't have to go to the yeah. Blah blah blah. You already know you're going to destroy yourself. That's why I'm like, you notice, like in the list of all the hoes that Gucci third leg had, it was probably only like one white bitch in there. That should have already been a red flag off rip. I'm like, there's plenty of white hoes he could have collaborated with, but a lot of those white hoes, they got male managers. Whether it'll be, they'll have their boyfriend as a manager, which is crazy work when you think about it. But they would have been like, okay, Gucci third leg, where's your STD test? Oh no, I prefer, because we already know what Gucci third leg did. He talked his way into not having to submit a test with these hoes, because most of the hoes that he was collaborating, they were black hoes. Most of them was black and Latina hoes, and and mixed breeds. And probably one, it was and there was probably like one trailer park trash. Probably there was probably one but I remember looking at those lists of the women he collaborated with in that 2 or 3 year span. Most of them were black. Because I already know all the top white female creators. They would have collaborated with him, but he would have had to take a test. And there's a reason why he didn't want to take a test because he. But anyways, this is why male managers, male pimps. This is why these people are needed. And Danae Davis has nobody else to blame but her, and all the other bitches that collaborated with Gucci. If they caught something, because a lot of them they probably had to hide that they caught, because there's a lot of those women on that was on that list. I haven't been seeing a whole lot of videos from them. I haven't been seeing them on streaming platforms lately. So you already know what that means. They probably caught it, but they got to keep that on the low. And they're just only doing solo content now. Because there's a lot of these hoes that did collaborate with Gucci. They're not. I don't see them getting invited on streaming platforms no more. I don't see them doing content with Twitch streamers no more. I'm like, oh, you already know what that means. Yep. Pyro, you got it right. He said, so his targets are literally mud sharks, light skinned B dubs, and B dubs, the most easy targets for the long time. Facts. Yep. And so called thick B dubs. Oh yeah, she. I'll say this. I don't know if she got it or not. So Pyro mentioned an adult film star in the chat. I don't know if she got it, but I haven't really been seeing her lately. If you know what I mean. So I don't know. I'm pretty sure he spread it to some of those women, because there's a lot of those women that I used to see on, like, because a lot of these adult film stars, or a lot of these OnlyFans stars, right? They get invited on these platforms to these Twitch stream platforms, whatever, and to get their numbers up and etc. And a lot of them that I saw that was getting invited, I don't see them getting invited no more. I see a whole new batch of 304s. Now I know that was going to happen anyways, but it's interesting. They don't even get mentioned. And I'm talking about, they used to be on the Shea Frost, right? DDG, all these people's platforms. I don't really be seeing them. So they probably caught it. What's it? Reese's Pieces. I know I'm naming some names that people I probably shouldn't know. A lot of these hoes, I haven't been seeing them lately. And they're only been advertising like solo content on their Twitter. That's how you're like, uh-oh. And I'll say this, Willow Ryder, right? These people, Reese's Pieces, etc. They should know better, because they're already in the industry. But they should have known better. But like I said, they wanted to collaborate with Gucci because they liked him. And like I said, there's a reason why. Oh yeah, Sexy Red has been quiet. Sexy Red has been very oddly quiet, especially since because remember, Aiden Ross slept with Sexy Red, and Sexy Red collaborated with Gucci. Remember, Aiden Ross was tight. Remember that when he found out that Sexy Red slept with Gucci during the time where Gucci had herpes. So this is wow. And if I'm not mistaken, Deshae Frost also slept with Danae Davis, if I'm not mistaken. But yeah, Sexy Red has been oddly quiet since that situation too. So she probably caught her herpes as well. But she wouldn't be the only woman in the industry that You know what I mean? She wouldn't be the only one. She wouldn't be the only one. So, like I said, they without male managers, a lot of these hoes end up shooting themselves in the foot. Anyways, that's why the top OF stars are all Caucasian girls. A lot of them have male managers. And as much as a simps as the male managers probably could, because a lot of some of those male managers are their boyfriends. Some of, I think one of the OF stars, I remember one of them said that like her dad manages the OF, which is crazy. But if you have a male manager there, they're gonna be like, okay, where's your STD test? Even if it's a simp is not gonna be like, no. They're gonna be like, where's your STD pin? What's your pin? What's going on with this? And Gucci third leg targeted those women on purpose. These were women those are probably women that slid in his DMs. Those were OF stars and adult film stars. Those were probably when that slid in his DMs and asked if they could collaborate. That's probably that those women he targeted. That's them bitches had to have a press conference on Twitter talking about safety and all this stuff. Let me search something up real quick. Let me search something real quick. Gucci third leg. Yeah, so before I even share the screen, because the screen is already looking crazy. I'm looking for that list. Yep, here we go. I got the list. Yes, sir. And I think I remember sharing this list with you guys, if I'm not mistaken. So, yep. So, right here, they said, here's a list of 50 women that Gucci third leg has shot with, slept with, and or created content with this year while allegedly being HSV2 positive, and there are way more. If you want me to drop another list with 50 more names, get this post to 1 million retweets, blah, 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 blah. And if anybody that knows these people, most of these women on here, these are black bitches or light skinned B dubs on here, and a couple mud sharks, a couple, not a whole lot of them, but it's not. Those are not like the top OF stars on there. Was it? I know a lot of people know Danae Davis, Bianca Blue, Slutty Genesis. I know people that she's very popular. Sexy Red, obviously we know the rapper. Honey Tsunami, Yum the Boss. I know people know her. Reese's Pieces. Reese's people know her. People know her. Willow Ryder. People know her. Kayla Jade East. I think haven't I covered her on this channel? I don't know. Mystical Menace. Yeah. Oh, Gem Jules was on this list. Wow. So wow. So, but Gem Jules, she's still doing content. So maybe she didn't catch it. Maybe. But she's still doing like content as we speak, if I'm not mistaken. Lil Miss T, Isabella Moon, Miss Kayla X. Yeah, these are people know these people. Didn't I say Bianca Blue already? Yeah, Bianca Blue. I already said her name. I don't know why they said her twice. Yeah, Yana the Freak. Hold on for a second. I think I do. Isn't she a streamer? Isn't Yana the Freak a streamer? Hold on for a second. Let me do some research real quick. Yana the Freak. Isn't she a streamer now? Oh, the freak. Or maybe I'm thinking about a different Yana. Oh no, that's oh never mind. Yeah, that's somebody else. I thought I mistook her for the light skinned bitch. There's a light skinned bitch that got the same name. Okay, Ivy the carrot slutty. I already said her. Jennifer White. Wait, who's Jennifer White? Hold on for a sec. Man, my Twitter's gonna be dirty after this. This is crazy. I'm gonna have to delete these people. My Twitter's gonna be dirty after this. Oh, let me search it up on my phone. That would be better. Let me not dirty up my Twitter. Let me not dirty up my Twitter. Let me search this on my phone. Let me search this on Twitter on my phone. Let me not muddy up my Twitter on my laptop. Let me not do that. What's her name? Jennifer White. That sounds so familiar. Jennifer White. Okay, that's probably one of the few white bitches that he's done a collab with. Okay, that probably counts as one. That counts as one white bitch. But yep, these are the people. 50 women he was in collaborations with during the time where he was HSV2. When he knew he was HSV2 positive. This is when he knew when he was HSV2 positive. So there's probably a whole list of these, and these are the women that we know in terms of we know in the OF sector or the adult film sphere. Imagine the countless bitches in Houston. Oh man, the women outside of this. It is what it is. It is what it is. Let's Garrett Grant said, nah, no dad should be managing his own daughter's OF. Look it up. Look it up if you don't believe me. Look it up if you don't believe me. Hey, this stuff is happening. Hey, remember, people like to bring up how like Aaliyah's uncle sold her to R. Kelly. These are the things that happen. Remember, hey, do I got to bring up that Corey Holcomb clip? Because I bet you the dad was like, no, until he saw the money that his daughter was making, and he's like, you know what, we might as well monetize off of it.
Exactly. I was with Floyd Mayweather. When I met him, I couldn't believe it. Floyd was like, hey, what's up, man? This my fiance, this my girl. They was both standing right there. That's what paper do, boy.
I gotta download that soundbite. That's what paper do, boy. I gotta download that soundbite, man. I gotta download that soundbite. I definitely gotta download that soundbite. Interesting. But anywho, let's take this off. Let's take this off. Oh yeah, by the way, let me bring up something. If you guys want to see why I compared the Marissa Watley case to the Kai Cenat situation, let me bring up my old videos of Jovi Pena and Kai Cenat. Let me bring up that real quick. Jovi. Okay, so if you guys are ever curious on that situation, all you got to do is go on my channel and type in Jovi Pena and just hit the search button. Oh, hold on. Hit the search button and you should see this video, right? And if you guys really want to know, hit Kai Cenat. It should pop right up. Okay. The Kai Cenat allegations. Oh, my do-rag days. Anyways. There should be a live stream that I did that should pop up. Yeah, but yeah. There should be a live stream with this, but okay. It is what it is. I probably had to remove it. Oh yeah, by the way, guys, I caught not a strike on my channel, but a warning on my channel today, this morning. So what I'm gonna start doing is I'm gonna start a membership, but the membership is gonna be like such a minimal price. And the membership is just gonna be full of the videos that have been banned from my YouTube. That's what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna start a membership, and the membership is just you pay a fee to see the videos that have been banned. So I have 2 videos. Sorry, I have 1 live stream and 2 videos that have been banned from my YouTube now. The live stream where I was talking about the incels, and then the video where I was talking about the incels, and the video that just got that it didn't get a strike, but it got a warning. So that's going to affect the algorithm. They said until what, September 2025. So I appealed it, and then less than an hour late, like I said, this happened today. This happened this morning. So I appealed it, and less than an hour later, they were just like, "Oh yeah, we've come to our decision, and yes, this is hate speech." So the third video that got deleted was the Black Pill video, the King 6'8" the Great video. They said that was hate speech. The video where I was talking about how cheating is not really an objective. It's subjective. It depends on who you are. And in that video, I was showing that women are choosing to be single mothers by guys like King 6'8" the Great. So remember that video I showed you? It's the video I did with King 6'8" the Great. The video was called the Black Pill episode. And I think that's why my video got taken down. They said that they said even if I don't monetize it, they said that they removed it. They're like, nope, you can't put this video up on here. So I'm gonna I might start a membership in terms of in that membership is gonna show all the videos that have been banned. Or at least a link of the videos that have been banned off my YouTube, because this is getting ridiculous. This is getting ridiculous. Like if you see the videos, and I'll show you like all of my Instagram comments that got my Instagram suspended. There was a point on my Instagram where I was suspended from doing lives because of some comments. It's mind you, I didn't call nobody a bitch. It's just, it is what it is. Yep, and he said Pyro says, and he said he had 8 kids, and the woman said with his genetics he should have more kids. Yep, that's exactly what she said. That's the video that got banned. I think the reason why it got banned because I put Black Pill in the title, similar to with the live stream and the video I did with cells, right? Is because I put those things in the title, and then they say it's hate speech. I was like, I sent in the message with my complaint. I was like, to whom was I offending? In the Black Pill episode, I'm like, who the people that I was offending was mostly men, really, with that video, because I said average men tend to think morality is what supersedes everything and all this stuff. Meanwhile, you guys are caping for women where their morality is on a goalpost, and you're using your morality card and your uh, uh, uh whatever you want to use God and all this, your imaginary sky daddy, this flying spaghetti monster. You want to use all these things, and women are not even they ain't thinking about none of that. I was mostly offending the men in that video, but they're talking about his hate speech, and I was like, to who? I'm like, who? Hate speech towards who? So what I'm gonna do is, yeah, with the videos that have been banned off of my YouTube, I'm gonna put it on a on a membership or something. I just I want you to show you that I'm not making this stuff up. I'm like, these are the videos that they're not there no more. These are the videos that have gotten strikes on my channels and suspended off my YouTube. So much so now it's going to affect the algorithm. And all three of these videos, it was flagged for hate speech. Pyro said, at this point, just start rolling like AJ. I feel you. But clearly, there's certain videos I can't put on YouTube. It's clear, like there's just certain videos I cannot put on YouTube. I don't know how those videos got flagged as hate speech. That's why I stopped. I don't even really talk about the incels anymore on my channel, because if just mentioning incels is going to trigger hate speech, bruh. Like, okay. It is what it is. But anyway, yeah. So if you guys start feeling like, oh man, Chris's channels or Chris's videos are not, I'm not getting the alerts that I'm getting, is because it's not a strike this time. Not like with the incel video where that would got me a strike on the channel. This is they said it's a warning, and this next time, my next offense is gonna be a strike. So that will be, so if I get that like, so if I think if I get another warning, if I'm not mistaken, I'll get a second strike on my channel. This is some interesting stuff. But anyways, shout out to you guys. Thank you for bearing with me reading through all the paperwork. Like I said, if you guys want to look up the Jovi Pena and the Kai Cenat situation. Same thing. It's literally the same, damn near the same exact situation. Damn near the same exact situation. That's why I bring up that parallel. That's why you see that in the thumbnail. So that's why I felt the need to read the paperwork. And when you read the paperwork, compare that towards the mainstream news networks and how they covered this story with, Harden versus Watley. But yeah, eventually I will put those videos on a separate platform. Maybe I should, because I do have a Kick account, but I have no videos on there. So maybe I might have to start putting these things on Kick, or what's it, Rumble, or one of these other platforms. But it's clear to me that there's just certain videos I just can't put on YouTube. I think it's because I put Black Pill in the title. I think that's really what it is. I put Black Pill in the title because that episode was called Black Pill episode, featuring King 68 the Great. You know what? I'll say this. If it's not because of, if it's this might be my prediction. I predict that King 68 the Great's channel, he might get his channel suspended. That's my prediction with King 68 the Great. I think he's gonna get his channel suspended, or taken up, he's gonna have to switch. He's not the platform that he runs it where he's just appearing and hoes are just summoning themselves up to him. I think his channel's gonna get flagged. I think that might because I think when a guy like him shows up and men are just seeing how women are just flocking to him without and just lowering all the standards all out the window. All of a sudden, women have no. All of a sudden, women can approach men, right? Because King 6'8" the Great basically proves all the black pill talking points, all the red pill talking points, all of our talking points, all of them. I think they're gonna find an excuse to kind of mess with King 6'8" the Great's account. I think that's what's gonna happen because low key, his channel is basically black pill. If you really think about it, it's basically a black pill channel. And men are just saying, oh, women can approach a man if they're attracted enough. Oh, they're seeing this in live time with his channel. So I'm really curious to see. I'm like, how does my video, how is it being flagged as hate speech? And then I would put out there, I would probably ask the YouTube CEO or whoever's running it. I'm gonna be like, okay, is it because I put black pill in the title? And obviously they're gonna say no. I'm like, okay, so if it's not because of the black pill that I put in the title, what is it about this content where I said women are going to approach who they want and all their standards are going out the window? That was the theme for my episode that day. And women will choose to become single moms, right? Right? This, like, just that clip that I showed, I'm not even going to show the clip in terms of what I was reacting to. I'm not even going to show the clip because I'm afraid, because I don't even think it's because I put black pill in the title. I don't think so. Because if it's not that, it's what I said in that video. And all I said in that video was, he basically proves that women are choosing to become single moms. And when it comes to the men that they're physically attracted to, it's no holds barred. Technically, I'll say this, Gucci third leg basically proved that with Danae Davis. Remember in that Gucci third leg live stream, there was a viral video of the photo of Danae Davis performing oral on Gucci third leg, and you could literally see the open sore on his shaft. Pause. You could see the open sore. The video, like the picture went viral, and it was women in the comments like, is this bitch stupid or dumb? Like, there's no like, if the S workers and the adult film stars, most of them, or the escorts, usually they're savvy when it comes to sex, meaning they're educated sexually. They understand what's going on. So they're not just gonna suck on any knob. They're not just gonna take on any client. A lot of the high end escorts, they screen their clients, right? They don't just perform oral on anybody, like especially the high end escorts. They be trying to make sure they're sexually educated. They're not going to They're not going to perform oral on a dude that has open sores in his genital area. But when you see the picture, when it went viral that day, there was a huge open sore in his genital area. It was like there's no way. But like I said, when a woman likes you, it seems like none of that matters. If a woman is hell bent on being with you, none of that matters. You see, people always, people want to, they want like to talk about, women found out the cheat code with men. But like I said, men found out the cheat code with women. People talk about standards and all this stuff, and why men aren't trying anymore. They just afraid with women with standards. No, because the word is out now. Men, even the normie dudes know. If a woman likes you, she's going to approach you. She's not going to put no hurdles in front of you. She's going to make it easy. For the longest time, men have been lied to about, you got to do this for a woman. You got to do no. If you have to go through hoops and hurdles for the broad, if you have to quote unquote wait until marriage, if you got to wait 90 days, or if she's not giving it up first night, men have been lied to until, no, you got to work for it. You got to do this for it. You got to do these dances. You got to dance for the bitch. You got to juggle. You got to do no. If she likes you, she likes you. It's painfully obvious. But unfortunately, I'll say this: there's a lot of women. I'll say most women. They're in situations where they will like a guy, but they're still not going to make the first approach. But unfortunately, when you got videos like King 6'8" the Great and all these, or other tall dudes that make these kind of content like that, where women are just approaching them, it's kind of shattering the illusion where guys are like, oh, so clearly if a girl likes you, she's going to approach you. So dudes are just done. They're done making that first approach. They're done. Even though I will say most girls need men to approach them because they're not trying to. They need plausible deniability on their side. They just always need it on their side. And on top of it, there are women that they're just not going to do the first approach because they just believe that they shouldn't have to, right? Even if she really does like the guy, there's just women like that. In fact, never mind. But anyways, anywho, but the word is out. The word is out. So that's why men aren't quote unquote trying or jumping through hurdles or trying to go out their way. They're not doing that stuff no more. Hold on. I see something real quick. Pyro says, what happened to BitChute? Who? You're gonna have to be more specific. So Pyro asked a question. He said, what happened to BIT shoot? I don't know what he means by that. I'm not sure what he means by that. You please do explain in the chat if you're still there. Please explain in the chat. Yeah, facts. So Pyro says women just want the opportunity to reject you, even though they have a 95% success rate. But like I said, the reason, like I said, plausible deniability. They need plausible deniability. They need it. Like they always need a way out. They always need a way out, right? Like I remember I made a comment on Instagram. I said every woman should have PD attached to their last name. Like how like you say, oh, this is this is blah 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 PD, and that's like code for police department, right? But in women's case, it should be, the PD stands for plausible deniability, right? Pyro said BitChute used to be a plot from where people get censored to post most of their content. Let me see. Hold on for a sec. Let me search that up. That might be something I know. I just probably don't recognize the name. I probably don't recognize the name. BitChute. Oh, you mean hold on for a sec. I spelled it wrong. Oh, you talking about BitChute. BitChute. Yeah. I know about that platform. Yeah, so there was some people just recently put me on to not only BitChute but another platform. I'm blanking on the platform's name, but it starts with a Y, where you basically can search anything you want, and you can search up anything you want without anything getting flagged. I forgot what it's called. It starts with a Y. It starts with a Y, but I forgot what it's called. But I used it recently to find Paige Bucher's tape with with her female lover teammate. Let me see. Yeah, I know about BitChute. I was like, what are you talking about, BitChute? I'm like, oh, BitChute. I know. I'm like, I know exactly. I know about BitChute. I know about BitChute. But if I am gonna use a platform, I'm probably gonna use Kick. I'm most likely I might use either Kick, and then if I do start a Twitch, my Twitch is gonna be PG. I'm gonna keep it a buck with you guys. If I do a Twitch, the Twitch is gonna be PG, and it's gonna be completely different from this kind of content. I already know. The only thing, like, if I do a Twitch, it's just gonna be me covering my life and me trying to make it in the music industry. Yeah, it said Chronic and Hammerhand have to use it. Yeah. But anyways, shout out to you guys. Yeah, like I said, like if I were to do a switch, I'm definitely gonna do Kick. Probably gonna do Kick, and then I'm gonna do Twitch. But my Twitch, I would have to complete, like, say if I get 3 strikes on this channel, I would definitely have to completely pivot, because I really feel like I built my YouTube from really grinding. I'm really grinding this YouTube stuff out. And for them to just take that away, that would be very disappointing. And I will switch to Twitch, and I will start doing trolling content. Meaning this is what I'm gonna do. If I ever switch to Twitch, I am going to be it's gonna be a political Twitch, meaning I'm gonna be trolling political decisions. So remember when I made that joke where when I said I'm gonna actually, let me not give people any free ideas, but it's gonna be an interesting. I'm gonna be wearing a disguise. It's not gonna be like just me on my Twitch. I'm gonna be wearing a fake beard, like I'm some older gentleman, and I'm going to be trolling people. That's what I'm gonna do if I do a Twitch. Nice. So Pyro the Flame King said that's why I use this channel for content. Chris, and the other channel I use is my gaming channel. Well, if you're gonna do a gaming channel, Pyro, you might as well just do it on Twitch. And yes, on YouTube as well, but you might as well primarily do it on Twitch. And there's this thing, I guess, with Twitch streamers, they be having these OF girls on, for collaboration purposes, but like if I were to do a Twitch, I would have no hoes on it. I'm sorry, I'm not having no hoes on my Twitch. These bitches are complete liabilities, man. Yeah, Twitch. Pyro. If you're gonna just do video game platforms, you might as well just primarily do it on Twitch, not just on YouTube. He said it's kind of annoying to use. Yeah, I get it, but in terms of the numbers that you can do, the money that you can make potentially on Twitch is ridiculous. Now, the problem with Twitch is they be easily taking people's accounts over nothing. Like Twitch is very sensitive. Twitch is like Twitch. If you cough the wrong way, they'll take away your account. So that's the thing with Twitch. So people gotta be careful with that. That's why, like me, if I'm gonna do a Twitch, it's gonna be a trolling. I'm gonna be trolling like real life political events. That's if I do a Twitch, and I'm gonna wear a disguise because I can already pass off as an old man in general or an older man. I'm gonna be like that dude from off of Tyler Perry, off of the what's it? Meet the Browns off of Tyler Perry. But anyways, yeah, that's what I'm finna do. Anyway, it's 11 o'clock. I went 1 hour overtime. I still got things to drop. I got to drop some videos. But anyways, shout out to you guys. I don't know. What should I end off the stream with? What should I end off the stream with, man? Because I got some funny videos dropping tomorrow. Like some real funny ass videos dropping to some of my best. I say some of my best work, in my opinion, dropping tomorrow. Let me see what video clips I got in my playback real quick. I'm trying to see what I got. I know I got some interesting stuff here. I know I got some interesting stuff, some interesting sound bites. I know I do. Oh, guys, let me close it off. Remember the video that I said I was trying to show you guys from my cousin's podcast, and I couldn't find the clip? I found it, and now I'm making it as one of my video sound bites. No, not TD. I can't. Okay, how about this? I'll show TD fakes, and then I will end it off with from my cousin's podcast from 2021 when he asked me, what do I consider wifey material? So I'm gonna do two outro videos. I'm gonna do two outro videos. Pyro says, in that Simps who give their money to that redhead with menopause. I think you're talking about Amaranth. I hope I'm saying her name right. But anyways, I'm gonna end it off with TD fakes. So yeah, the Geno Jennings making fun of TD fakes, then TD fakes again, and then I'm gonna end it off with me on the podcast, on my cousin's podcast in 2021, when he asked me, what do I consider wifey materials? So that is how I'm going to end tonight's stream. This is beautiful.
You know how the false prophet said, have you ever been swallowed?
I would have been swallowed up. Have you ever been swallowed up? Have you gone through a time of swallowing where everything was overwhelming and you were at your wit's end? That is my point of view.
So what do you guys consider wifey material?
Cook, clean, Just say you want a slave, dude.
Yeah, like you just
Cool, clean.
You want the traditional joint.
I know, right?
This is my wife.